slides that I have in store. So next 20 minutes, I'm going to cover up the industry's newer challenges, which I am glad my earlier speakers have touched upon, the digitalization challenge. Evidence is all evidence important because you will not. So some of the aspects, particularly after every large recession or pandemic or any other economic shift in the world, you will see there has always been new ways adopted. The Industrial Revolution came as a result of the 1930s economic depression. The communication era transpired. Probably the digital era is coming next. So I do not know what the new is, but all you got to do is be ready for the shift. What we do know, and it's very well documented by most learned people, is the speed at which things are changing and moving. So please move swiftly and move fast. If you stay with the old lethargic ways and still have a dialed up phone, unless it is for aesthetic reasons and vintage value, by all means there is value in that. Please get rid of the old ways. The sooner you do that, the earlier you'll adopt new ways. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Largest logistics companies in the world. Those who attended that breakfast session went back with, that wasn't my wife. She doesn't apologize at the drop of a hat. It's my phone. All right, so we found that, and it was very much, discover as we go. Collaboration and partnerships, I'm glad Mr. Sen said sometimes it's very difficult to get surveyors mobilized abroad, and that's clearly a need for collaboration and partnerships, and need to identify at least one or two prominent surveying companies. The days of the Lloyd's agents are dead. If one of them are here, please consider yourself a dinosaur, because that's what times underestimated grossly. So if somebody throws something new at you which you don't know, please don't wait until somebody else tells you that, because by then you would already be outdated and something would have moved on. So if somebody says there is a new patch on Windows 11, please adopt it. Please endeavor to get it on your machine, on your team. A new antivirus, a new malware patch, you have to change as quickly as you do. And these are very few of these I've told you. Already IMO has moved on. There is an MSC 428 in place where cyber risk in the maritime and logistics industry is amongst the most prominent risks. We did a small breakfast penetration test example. One of the largest logistics company, I don't want to name them, and this was a dive deep into the dark web, which our penetration testers did, and they found 700 facts will always lead to causation. There is no causation that can be written without a fact that is included in a report. So if you have a conclusion, which you have a perception, say the master says something to you, or somebody says something, a hearsay, and you put that in a report, you might be up for trouble, because hearsay is not tangible evidence, not factually evident, unless somebody gives you a statement and he signs it off with a name and contact number, and he has been an eyewitness. That's another story. I usually mention about Adam and his fall from the tree of a young boy who's left alone, runs into a neighbor's backyard and has an injury. Everyone blames the mother, the neighbor to leave the door open, somebody to concretize the floor of the apple tree. But nobody talks about the proximate cause very readily in a small fall, which most children or we ourselves had when we were kids. The fact that the insurance company wants to know is that the impact of Adam's head was made with such force with the concrete hard structure that it could not bear the load of the fall. That's all that matters. And of course, it's very important to ascertain that Adam didn't throw himself. Nobody pushed him down the apple tree. It wasn't a intentional or a culpable change I'm talking about. If you can write an email with 2 lines explaining what you want to do, please delete the 3 lines or 5 lines that you're planning to write. Nobody has the time. You have to exercise brevity today in everything. That's why Twitter has only so many characters, and make your point and move out. Right? Concise and to the point is the today's norm. If you ask a surveyor who's been practicing this, I have been practicing for 18 years saying that. But anybody before us, probably Captain Pal and his era, they would say that I would probably write everything that I see in a report, because I don't know what the lawyers will pick and write. I don't know if he has this point of view, but I'm sure his generation, somebody might have this opinion. The last one, I say this again and again, every opportunity I get, opinionating is not required. At best, if you go out to collect evidence, yours is only a technical opinion. There might be a legal opinion to what you see. There might be an opinion of the underwriters. So please do not mention anything on as an opinion. If you're asked as an expert witness, by all means, at that time you've been paid for your opinion. And that opinion is because you've got years and years of background. I'm a proud member of the Baltic Association of Expert Witness, and I can assure you, giving an opinion is highly. Anyway, moving on to the same theme, what's new. We mentioned about containers and how difficult it is to track them, to know what's going on, how it is to know what has gone through. Look, your container today, whether it's precious cargo or not, if you have had consistent claim, your cargo has a voice today. It can be recorded, it will take and measure shocks that it goes through during transit. It can be mapped where those shocks have been. It has a temperature, lat-long control. It has the exact location where it is. I know Maersk has already tested some of these boxes, particularly high commodity cargoes. And the cost of putting this technology in your box with high net worth cargo is not very difficult. In fact, underwriters could put this as a requirement for cargoes worth XYZ amounts, which goes over a certain value, to have these bare minimum warranties in place, like you would for anything else. You would have a project cargo and you would have a cargo underwriter wanting to assure that the lashing has been done and certified by an independent. Dangerous cargo, most carriers do that. So this is the new today. This is the new change. Be prepared for it. If you say you're in India and it will come to you later, you are absolutely mistaken. It is amongst the fastest adoptive digital area, and I say that from being away, see where exactly the vessel is tracked through in the sea. Collecting evidence is a commodity service. Believe it or not, you breathe air, air is everywhere. Evidence collectors are exactly like that. They're everywhere. If your box falls off somewhere or it's opened up and is wet, the first question asks, "Kya hua tha?" Nalpada? Who did it? How did it? So, it's a commodity service. You get that information in the back of your phone, but is it tangible? Is it backed up with hard evidence which can be admissible? Is it written down by an independent, or is it said or captured by somebody who is a biased party or even an unknown party? All this matters because evidence collected by you is different from evidence collected by me. We could stand and take a picture, both of us in the same room. My photograph as an independent appointed legitimately by an underwriter will be admissible. That's why I charge a fee for it. You probably know what happened to it and probably have a good idea of what the causation might be. Saying that causation in another world of can of worms. Saying that, some examples which I was asked to mention, I'm going to say names, but there are times when carriers very, very consciously, or those junior operators try to hide or not give away the data. Would not be used on the construction side, was actually being used for the purpose, and here's the evidence for it. The claim was rejected because there was undisputable evidence that having rejected the cargo, he actually continued to use it at the construction site. So we were. There's another one. I'll tell you that in the break, which comes to mind. Remember me about the sinking dhow. Complete total. I'll say it anyway. Complete total loss. We were appointed. The dhow was sunk. 3 months later, we saw the same dhow at Jadaf, a wooden dhow. She was at Jeddah with the same DP number. All we did is to take a picture and send a one paragraph addendum to a report, to the underwriter stating, so and so report 2 months ago we submitted. There was indisputable evidence that the boat is sunk. 2 months later, it's not sunk. Luckily, that week, the underwriter was going to sign off the check for complete total loss. Looking at that evidence of one photograph and one paragraph, there was tangible evidence that this is not a complete total loss. The boat itself was salvaged, and once the insurance approved the claim, they were probably going to refurbish and use the dhow anyways and pocket the. So anyway, fourth point of a good factual report is brevity. Brevity is to the point. Less is actually more. How you write
to our own constellation.